Hi, welcome to the course. My name is Fuad, and this video series will help you understand your reading material, assessment, and health professions education. Now, I'll point out to you in this series what's important, what's not so important. So, let's go right to it. Okay, so let's go to the first chapter, Introduction to Assessment in the Health Professions. And this is a very introductory chapter, and right at the beginning it introduces the definition of assessment. As you know, our module is assessment in medical schools. So definition of assessment is given here as a systematic process to measure or evaluate the characteristics or performance of individuals, programs, or other entities for purposes of drawing inferences. Now, there are several important things here that we need to understand. Number one is that it is a systematic process. It is not something haphazard. It is not something which is done loosely. There are principles involved. There is evidence involved. It is very scientific. It is a very evidence-based process. We think of validity, we think of how to sample, we think of the reliability because of the, as we will discuss later, because of the stakes involved, that it must be a systematic process to measure or evaluate. And we will discuss later what measure means, measurement. Usually at the end of something, we will get a number. There's a measurement. On evaluate, what does that mean? That we get a value from the number, we get a value, and the correct. What do we measure? What do we evaluate? The characteristics or performance of individuals, programs, or other entities. Now, but for this, the purpose of this course, we are not bothered about program evaluation. We will just focus on student, the candidate. So we are looking at individual performance, okay, for purposes of drawing inferences. Now that is another important concept which we will discuss a bit more later, is concept of inference. Now, assessment, what we are measuring in students, in human beings, is not something very concrete, very definite, like someone's weight or someone's height. But what we are looking at is often something very abstract, very vague, like philosophical, like cognitive, like skills, knowledge, attitudes. Now you can't measure that with a ruler or measuring tape or a weighing scale. What you can do is to sample and based on what we sample, we make inferences. Now that's the whole definition of assessment. That's very important. Each of those components mentioned just now is very important for us to really understand. And the second paragraph goes on to explain what sets us apart from other education scenarios. What sets the medical or the health sciences education apart? As has been stated here, the most common thread uniting the health professions may be that all such professionals must complete highly selective courses, educational courses of study, which usually include practical training as well, not just theory, not just cognitive, but we include all. We include knowledge, we include skills, we include attitudes, And those who successfully complete these rigorous courses of study have the serious responsibility of taking care of patients. So at the end of the day, it is something to do with patients, with people's lives, which makes it very important, and sometimes in life and death situations. Thus, health professionals usually require a specialized license. We talk about credentialing, we talk about licensing exams in order to allow doctors and other health personnel to take care of people's lives. Now that makes it important, and that makes it a bit separate from perhaps other educational scenarios. And it says there, it is important to base our health professions education assessment practices and methods on the best research evidence available, with rigorous and accountable standards, since many of the decisions made about our learners ultimately impact healthcare delivery outcomes for patients and the public more broadly.